picked him up that day. They had to wait to 6:30. It's like, oh, gosh, people.
My son did soccer and yeah.
All right.
Things are carrying you,
Oops.
and that starts for for when like you have that's for when you're calling people, but that's also for like when you're at an appointment and you're booking her next appointment, or like you're at the thing that Clyda's going to do and you're booking somebody. Like have it highlighted until the next, the first week or so of the next month, so that you don't have that lag. Exactly.
Perfect. Awesome.
Mhm.
All right. Any questions on that? I thought I saw the record button, then I realized it probably was showing me to actually hit record, not.
So the other thing I think that we tend to do, so Amy, correct me if I'm wrong, but if I told you, if you were to get together with some of your friends, you could pull them together on Friday or Saturday. So you don't
Oh, yeah.
have to say like, oh, you don't have to book 2 weeks from the day you're talking to them. A lot of
Right.
times we think that, and I think we do that because we're nervous.
Right.
But it's fine. She can get girls together. I've called people on a Tuesday, and she's gotten somebody together, 6 girls together last Friday before. So it's fine.
Yeah.
People can pull it off.
Yesterday I booked 2 people for Thursday. So, and one I know is inviting friends. So it's like the other one's just a girlfriend wants to go and get together and play with makeup, but like she want to do Thursday. So it does. Yeah. You can do it like tomorrow. People are last minute, like a lot of people last minute. When I'm getting together with girlfriends, the easiest thing for me to do is do a last minute thing, personally. So I don't want to book a girlfriend time like 2 weeks from now, because I don't know what I'm doing 2 weeks from now on Wednesday night. And I want to keep that open because I have lots of options. Like I have lots of things going on in my life. So sometimes last minute is good. So, all right, great. So Lyanne is going to come up and talk about some time management, which is so helpful. So she has like a full-time job and her Mary Kay and her kids and a father living with her and. So I thought that she said she wanted to share some tips on this, which I'm excited to hear. So I think it'll be great.
So the biggest thing is if it's not scheduled, it's not real. That is so important. If it's not scheduled, it's not real. So, there's so many different things that Mary Kay gives us, tools that they give us to help us. The first thing is your 6 most important things list. Your 6 most important things list doesn't necessarily always have to be about Mary Kay. You could literally put things on that list to make your day easier. Like, anybody ever heard that the majority of people who get up and make their bed, they're more productive? That was like the first thing I started putting on my list like years ago, because I was rebellious with not making up my bed. But something happens when you start putting things on that list and then you're able to check it off. So don't necessarily say that all 6 things have to be Mary Kay things. Start small, because just like we recognize everything, you need to start giving yourself a pat on the back. So prioritize what's important for the day. Okay. The truth about time, everyone has the same 24 hours. What is it that you want to do? Just like Amy was talking about, why would someone want to book with you? It's got to make sense for them, right? So it's the same thing when we say that everybody has the same 24 hours. The president, he's got the same time that we have. He still has time to get on Twitter. So, I mean, I'm joking, but we have the same amount of time. So you have to look at your day. Like, what's the most important? So maybe, like me, I got to get up and go to work, right? A new thing that is very important to me is getting up, going to the gym, because I'm happier. I feel better, right? So you've got to prioritize those things, and then you have to look at the time that you have left and say, hey, I really want to earn that car. What type of activity do I need to be doing to earn a car? That's when you go and you talk to someone who already has it, right? So successful consultants don't have more time, they have more structure, right? Every part of their day, they're saying, hey, I need to do this. And they're looking back and they're checking off what has been done. Okay. So you don't want to say, oh my God, I've got to work my business. If you plan that, you're excited to take care of it and knock it off your list, right? That weekly plan. So the first thing you need to ask yourself, when am I going to book? Are you going to book every day? No, because you're not going to do it. You're not going to do it. You tell yourself, I'm going to book every day. You're not going to do it. Set aside some time to do your booking. Okay. When am I going to hold appointments? What days of the week are you going to hold appointments? That's when you know to say, hey, are you free on the weekends or on the weekday? Are you free in the morning or in the afternoon? You've got to carve out that time because, for one, you've got to respect what you've got going on. And if you do that, then others will respect your time as well. When am I going to follow up? Because the fortune is in the follow up. You can always make some money when you follow up with your customers. Okay. And that's something that Mary Kay has taught me, and I do that in my regular job. I had a guy today, I had to left him 10 messages over 2 weeks. And I called him today and he picked up. And he said, I promise I'm not ignoring you. I said, oh, I don't believe people ignore me. And he's like, yeah, I'm ready to go. But you know what I'm saying? He was like, I'm ready to go. Let's get this house scheduled. Bam. So when are you going to follow up and understand how important that is? Okay. When am I posting on social media? You know, we're living in a time where social media can be a gift. So you need to schedule a time. Maybe that's something you're going to do, you know, after you get up and you do your workout or your devotion. Get on social media and do that. Maybe it's better if you're a night owl, you know, before you go to bed, do your posting, check your messages, okay? If you can't answer when I'm doing these things, you're running off of emotions and not intention. And we've all been there, okay? We've all been there. But that's the difference between, do I want it, or I'm gonna just do a little bit, right? Okay. Your 3 core income producing activities, IPAs, we talk about that all the time, right? Booking, selling, team building. You've got to have a structure that works for you to understand that when I'm booking, when I'm holding appointments, well, how many? What's my goal? How many booking appointments do I want to get? How many selling appointments do I want to have? And you know what? I think it's easier if you set your goals daily, then weekly, then monthly. Because, you know, sometimes you say, "Oh, I'm going to do 30 faces in 30 days." And then when you get to the 7th like today and you haven't done one, you're like, "Oh my God." But if you say, "Hey, you know what? I'm going to do 3 faces this week." I don't know. Well, you know what? I could do them individually, or maybe I could get them all together in a party, right? When you achieve that, aren't you going to feel good about yourself? Mm-hmm. And then next week you can say, "Hey, I'm going to get 5." Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So break that down a little bit easier, okay? To when you're deciding what your goals are, okay? Don't just say I want to make $500. Instead, I'm gonna say, because we know, like, you know what your averages are, right? You know how much do you average a face?
I don't know.
How much? Give me some, Tiffany. Tiffany, how much money do you think you average with one face?
I'm gonna say 150.
Maybe
Rachel said 100. Thank you, Rachel.
50.
Okay. Hey, listen, it's not a trick question, because the more you do it, the higher it's gonna get. We got another. You said 100?
150.
150. Okay, so look, that's why it's important to know what your average is. Because if you say, I want to make $500 this week, then knowing what your average is, then you understand how many faces you need to book. Okay? So I know how many bookings I need to make this week. I need to know how many appointments I need to add every week. I need to know how many follow-ups I need to do. Because even if you book, if we get 10, how many is gonna hold? A third or whole, right? That's what we usually say, right? A third or whole. That's like the genuine. I mean, that's sales across the world. A third, a third, a third. So this is how you know how many bookings that you need to have. Okie dokie. Now, the power hour method. Who's heard of that? The power hour. So you know what? Say like a working, woman like me, I get an hour, I get an hour break, right? I might say, okay, look, 15 minutes, I'm gonna set my Apple Watch and I'm gonna make some booking calls for 15 minutes. I'm gonna do 15 minutes of follow-up. I'm gonna do 15 minutes of customer service calls. That could be, you can send out a text. Honey, we're chat GTP and you can send a voicemail, a video to follow up, 15 minutes of social media or 15 minutes of learning. You done broke that down in an hour, right? One focus hour beats 5 distracted hours, right? Okay. Time blocking. That's a game changer. You're going to have to know what your schedule says. Hey, Monday from 7 to 8, I'm going to book. You already know where you are Tuesday. Tuesday from 6:30 to about 8, maybe. You know where you are, right? So that's the time where you get people in here for facials, right? We always say that. That's the easiest thing. But are we intentional about doing it because we've forgotten to book it, right? Saturdays, maybe your Saturdays are for your appointments, okay? Maybe your Sunday, that's the day I'm giving to the Lord and my family, right? So we're not going to do anything there. You're going to have to eliminate time waster. And this was something that I learned when I first joined Mary Kay, 9 years ago. I realized that I watched too much TV. I watched way too much TV. And now, like, TV's not even a part of my life, right? Because I saw how much time I was wasting, so now I plan to Netflix. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'll plan, like, I'm going to watch this because it's just so many other things to do. Overthinking. Have you ever decided you was going to sit down and book and you done looked up and it was 45 minutes have passed and you hadn't picked up the phone and made one call because you were worried about what someone was going to say, whether or not they were going to answer the phone, what kind of message am I the only one? Mm-mm. Overthinking, you guys. Sometimes that was something that National Emeritus Gloria Mayfield Banks always said to us was, do it afraid. Okay, you're scared. Okay. Do it scared. Do it scared. And something to kind of help you with that, practice. You know what? Or learn to just not take yourself so seriously. That's what I do. Waiting to feel ready. You're never gonna be ready. Okay. Sometimes we ask people, say, hey, you meet a new consultant, hey, what's your goal? What's your next step? And they're like, oh, well, I think I'm going to get ready to be a red jacket. There is never a time that you're going to be ready to be the next level. The time is do it. Because, we're at the age where people are dying left and right. I'm trying to be morbid, but I'm just saying, there is no time. Let's not waste the time. So you want to, okay, I lost that. Okay. So your business, I'm wrapping up, sorry. Your business doesn't need more time. It needs more intention. Okay. Even with a full life, kids, pets, work, everything, you can win in Mary Kay if you decide when you're working and what you're doing with that time. Very good. Does anybody have any questions? Rachel said, take a deep breath and jump. And I'll tell you, another thing you can do, like before you get on the phone to make calls, run around the room and get your heart rate up. Mm-hmm. Because you'll be like out of breath and you'll sound excited to the person on the other line. And you'll be so ready to just get it over with. you'll just spit it on out and you won't even care how stupid you sound. Because it doesn't really matter because we just take ourselves too seriously. Okay. So Tiffany says, thank you, Tiffany. Tiffany says, I'm struggling with being ready. I 100% can relate to that. Okay, Tiffany, what do you think you should be ready for? You can unmute.
Everything. I should be ready to pick up the phone and call somebody or, book the parties and do the things. And it's just like, nah, I'm not ready for that.
Well, I think sometimes when we're not ready, it's that we haven't really chosen a goal or like a why that's really gonna push you to not count yourself out. Does that make sense? Like I think sometimes people say, well, I want to make more money to pay off my bills. No, you don't. You really don't, because bills are forever. Or, I'm gonna use my Mary Kay business to I don't know, Tiffany, what's something that you want? Come off mute.
Oh, I mean, to be out of just, I mean, obviously, I'm still always going to have bills, but to be able to go on trips when I want.
Okay, so perfect. Okay, stay with me. So, where would you like to go?
Um, oh my gosh, Bahamas.
Okay, Bahamas. Now, off the top of my head, like if it just depends on where you want how you want to do it. But going to the Bahamas is probably not as far-fetched as you think it is. Because you could literally get on a cruise to go to the Bahamas. Me and my son went last year for spring break for 5 days, and it cost me $1,250. So, have you looked at what a Bahama trip costs?
Yeah.
Okay, so what have you seen? Hey, Rachel.
I've seen
Partner.
we've looked at the cruise part, we've looked at like all inclusive. Um, I've seen so with the cruise like 15-ish, like 1,500-ish.
Okay, so I'm going to give you a suggestion, right?
Mhm.
And this is how I did that cruise for me and my son last year. So one of my besties in Mary Kay, she's a national sales director, and she just, goes on trips all the time because she's a national sales director. And she's got this, I can make my money, she's got it down pat, right? So she's like, hey, I checked the schedule. Your son and my kids, they have the same spring break. Let's go on a cruise. And I was like, whoa, 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 whoa. It was like a month and a half before we were going to leave. This was last year. And I was like, whoa, 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 whoa. I don't have no money to go on a cruise. And she's like, just book it. And I was like, wait a minute. So I go online to Carnival, and you can affirm that trip. Did you know that?
No.
Okay. So this is what she told me. You can absolutely use Mary Kay to pay for this trip. So I literally went online and I booked it with Affirm. Affirm will allow you to they'll pay for it and then you'll have to pay it later, right?
Mhm.
There was no other money for me to go and get unless I went and worked my business. Because they're going to tell you when it's coming out. Now, for me, I needed that push. Okay? Because I had to have the money there to go on the trip. And I really wanted to take that trip. I wanted to take my son. So I think sometimes we'll say we want to do something, but we really just have to, what my homegirl said, Rachel Garner, I think she said, you just gotta have to jump out there to do it. Because if you really, really want to go to the Bahamas, how bad do you want it? Right? How bad do you want it? So maybe you need to jump out there, book it, and then go book you some clients and go pay for your trip.
Know how much it is that
You know, you're gonna know every dime that you need. And once you have that price, you're gonna know how many faces you need to do weekly. And look, and are you married?
Yeah.
When you tell him you done booked the trip, don't you worry. He gonna make sure you go see them faces. He's gonna make sure. Am I lying, ladies?
Nope.
He's going to make sure that you go see those faces and make him a part of it. Make him a part of it. Like, hey, I need you to get me some clients. Where do you work? You know, I need to, whoever you are, I need some faces. I need the wives. I need the girlfriends. Set it up. Give me the number. And once you do it, you'll know. Once you do it one time, you know you can do it again. Okay, that's all. I hope that helped.
I love that. Great job. Yay. I love
She
that.
about to go to Bahamas.
She goes to Bahamas. Rachel, I think I found it.
Yes.
So I found the star consistency. So under reports, now under my reports, there is a unit star and consultant consistency. So we can see that. So you should be able to see, you as a consultant, you should have a report under challenges and promotions that says star consulting consistency or star consistency program. So you should be able to see what points you have, I think. So the other thing I want to share about time management, I love that. I loved all those things because those are all like really important things. And basically what we were talking about is doing a weekly plan sheet, right? So, having your time blocked, right? So it's God first, family second, career third, right? Not 33rd. So, are you using something like this every week that actually blocks out your time? Are you putting your church time and your God time and your personal time in there? And then are you putting your family obligations? And then are you blocking off when you're going to work, when you're going to do your appointments, when you're going to do your bookings? And when you set a time like at 1 o'clock on Tuesday afternoon to do your bookings, do that. Like I am the worst at not doing things when I say I'm going to do them. And then I think about it and 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 I put it off. Like I am the biggest procrastinator you'll ever find on the face of this earth about everything, right? I have been forever. But then when I have like a deadline, I will do it all at the end to get the deadline done. But that's not a good way to be, right? So, but also, it also shows you if you are that way, you can also still be successful. You just got to make sure you somehow get it in. Okay. But blocking your time and because I'm such a freedom and flexibility girl, that the idea sometimes of having to block myself into a schedule is really challenging for me. But when I do it, there's a freedom in that.
Yeah.
Because, a lot of people outside of the Mary Kay world or, who have 9-to-5 jobs are like, oh, I would not want to work nights and weekends. Well, listen, I've worked lots of different jobs in my life, and I've worked nights and weekends a lot of other times in other jobs, but I don't mind doing it when I get to choose to do it.
Yeah.
And there's a freedom in that, right? There's a freedom in that. Like, yeah, maybe if you're doing a party on a Friday night, would you rather sometimes be with your family? Yes. But then when you get to that party and you're doing it and you're like, and you're making a difference in these women's lives and y'all are having fun and you're laughing and and then you walk out of there with $500 to $600 in sales. That's a lot of fun, right? So sometimes we have to do the things we don't want to do at that time.
Yeah.
So if you actually sit down and just make a phone calls for 30 minutes or an hour or 15 minutes, like in that blocks of time, you're going to get those little pieces of discipline will lead to much more freedom in the long run, and then you'll get your things done. And there's no freedom in not doing what you tell yourself you're going to do and then thinking about it for the entire time, right? And then beating yourself up at it. There's no freedom in that. We think there is. Those of us freedom and flexibility girls, we think there is, but there's actually not, because that causes more stress, right? Than just sitting down and be like, you know what? I'm just going to buck up and I'm just going to make that call. I don't care how stupid I sound. I know I'm not going to say anything to hurt this person's feelings because that's not my heart, right? And if they say no, it's okay. They're not saying no to me personally. They're just, They're just saying yes to wrinkles later, really. I mean, that's what they're doing.
That's one practice session behind.
And it's one practice session behind you too. So, so that's great. Rachel, anything else you want to add?
I love that, Amy. I love that. Yeah, so this is a great example. So I'm visiting my family today, and I was going to do a power hour at 11. And so I did my power hour at 11, didn't think about anything else the rest of the day. And I had total freedom. I just enjoyed but I got 3 bookings at that time. So, it's great. It's just, otherwise you're thinking, oh, I got to do that. Oh, I got to do that. We beat ourselves up all day long. So it's exactly, and you don't have to have an hour.
Mm-mm.
We think we do, but sometimes you can have like 15 minutes. You can just squeeze it in little bits. You don't have to have, you don't wait until you have an hour. Schedule 15 minutes. That's fine. And then just do it. Take a deep breath and do it. I love everything that y'all said was so awesome.
And when you're out and about, like, just talk to people. Just talk to people. If you don't like to talk to people, I mean, you wouldn't be Mary Kay if you don't like to talk to people in general, right? Like, we like people, we want to help people, we want to talk to people. So when you're out and about, just talking to people, like, have your cards ready, wear your name tag, wear your pin, wear it upside down. So somebody has to come up and be like, hey, your pin or your name tag's upside down. Oh, thank you so much. This might sound crazy, but I would love to thank you for that. I'm a Mary Kay consultant, and I'm working on my spring professional women's portfolio. And if you don't know if she's professional, then don't you say, I'm working on my spring women's portfolio, and I need 30 faces this month. I would love to treat you. May I borrow your face? And when you're uncomfortable, what do we all do? Nod and smile, right? Nod and smile when we're uncomfortable, because then that makes us feel a little bit better, and it makes them more comfortable too. So, if you don't want to sit down for 30 minutes or whatever to book, well, you kind of have to book them, but then go out and meet people and book them on the spot. Like, I mean, figure out what works for you and what your joy zone is in all of that. So, all right. So I was looking up reports. Now I lost my thing. Oh, that's the, any questions on that? Yeah, where did my agenda go? It went goodbye. Here it is. Okay. All right, so last week's challenge was to hold at least 2 parties and send your completed pre and post party checklist to your sales director. Did anybody accomplish that? Tiffany, were you going to do an inspiration for us?
I'm say Rachel mentioned it. I don't know what she was wanting.
Okay, that's okay. We can put you on next week. How about that?
That works.
Okay, great, great. So at the end of next meeting, we'd love for you just to share a little inspiration. It can be anything inspirational. Okay, awesome, perfect. All right, so your challenge for this week is, okay, this is simple. Do your weekly plan sheet for this week and next week and send it to your director. Okay? Do your weekly plan sheet. And if you have, we have these, you can just print them out. I think Rachel probably posted it on the Together Tuesday, or she will, or whatever. It looks either like this and if you have a calendar, that's great. But the goal of having a calendar like this, though, is to have it blocked off by the hour. So if you have a calendar that's like all one big calendar, and then like April 7th is just one box with nothing, in it. Like, you can't, everything you have to do on April 7th or April 8th cannot fit in a box that's this big on your piece of paper, right? Mm-hmm. Like, that's not going to work. Mm-hmm. And I love paper as opposed to the phone. Okay, I'm going to show you something real quick. Does this stress you out looking at it?
Oh, yes. Ooh.
Okay. Does this stress you out looking at that calendar? Okay. Where's my white space? This is not the calendar I work off of. What this is these are reminders. Most of them are reminders of things I have to do that I don't want to forget. That's not like written down, but I don't want to forget. It's my appointments with my personal trainer. The yellow is the boutique calendar because I manage the boutique calendar. Okay, if I were to try and book appointments based on that calendar, right, that doesn't work. This works because I can put in, let me show you this week. That's next week. And I color code it with colored pencils that I can erase. Okay. So now I can put things in that I know what I have to do what. Like I have my workouts in the morning. I have different Zooms I have to be on. I have my Mary Kay appointments. I have real estate stuff I'm doing. I have my personal stuff on here. Like I have everything in here and they're color coded. But I know, but I can also see my white space, which I think is really important because then you don't feel like you're running ragged. I don't know if that's important to me. I know personally I need some white space. Or that's not going to make me happy. And part of my white space today was I went and got a pedicure. I was following up with people on my phone while I did that, but so you have white space. So anyway, that's important. So you're gonna send your weekly accomplishment sheet filled out, and we're not gonna judge you. We're not gonna it's not there's no right answer, but we want to make sure you have your calendar schedule down, and you're gonna put in your God time, put in your family obligation time, your nail appointment, your hair appointment, your other, the things that you have. If you work 9 to 5 or 8 to 5 or 8 to 7 or whatever it is, put it in there. And then block off when you're going to do your Mary Kay stuff. When are you doing appointments? And then when are you going to do your booking and your follow-ups? And again, I like to color code because then that shows me I can look at that. If I just looked at that without color code, I'd be like, man, I'm really busy this week. But what I'm looking for is pink boxes because my Mary Kay is red, a red pink color pencil, but I can also erase it if I need to move it. Okay, so I can look at it and be like, man, I'm really busy, but there's no pink, so that's not good. Okay, and then your next one is, I bet you all can guess. Get 10 bookings on your books for April. And then next week we will be doing facials in the other room. And we will be doing training in here. And it will be on customer service. So how to follow up and how to provide really great customer service for your customers. So sound good? Right. All right. Love you guys. Have a good night. Thanks, Rachel, for being on.
You got to show up tonight.
I know, me too.
Yay, thank y'all all for getting on. It was so great to see you. I can't wait to hear what you thought.
And enjoy your time with your family.
Thank you.
Bye.